It's Tuesday, July 13th, 2021 at approximately 5 p.m. This is a public hearing of the Springfield Township Board of Trustees for case ZC 2021-001, the address 1100 West Seymour Avenue. May we have a roll call, please, Mr. Bernie?
Yes. Ms. Davis?
Present.
Mr. Harlow?
Present.
Mr. Burning?
Present?
All the trustees are present.
All right. First, we'll hear the case for ZC 2021-001, 1100 West Seymour Avenue. Ms. Kennedy, will you present your report to this?
Sure, Mr. Burton. Thank you. So just to clarify sort of the order of the rest of the hearing, although the only folks in attendance have sort of been through this process before, I will present the staff report. If the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them regarding the staff report. And then if the applicant would like to make a presentation, they certainly are welcome to. If the board has any questions of the applicant, you'll ask them at the time. Then if there are any opponents or proponents of the application, we would invite them to come to the podium and ask their question. And then finally, the board will close the public portion of the meeting for deliberation. And the board at that time may either make a motion to approve or deny the application with staff recommended conditions or any additional conditions that you see fit. So as Mr. Burning stated, this is case ZC 2021-001, 1100 West Seymour Avenue. The applicant is Mr. George Frankenstein of Security Fence, 4260 Dane Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45223. The property owner is Sharon Tebby of Seymour Empire, LLC, 3958 Schroeder Drive, Hamilton, Ohio, 45011. The location is 1100 West Seymour Avenue, Book 590, page 0203, parcels 0121 through 0124. The property is located south of North Bend Road and east on Seymour Avenue, Section 13, Town 3, Entire Range 1. The property is approximately 7.5 acres with frontage on Seymour Avenue. The existing zoning is R3 Residence District, and the existing land use designation is Industry Light. So, Article 26 of the Springfield Township Zoning Resolution outlines the procedures for approval of a preliminary development plan and zone map amendment, and states that a new preliminary development plan requires a district change that must first be considered by the Zoning Commission, who then makes a recommendation to the Board of Trustees. As portrayed in the submitted application, the applicant is requesting approval of a zoning map amendment from R3 Residence District to MPUD Industrial Plan Unit Development to construct a new warehouse, shop, office, and utilize the existing commercial building for a commercial fence company. As the board remembers, on June 2nd, 2021, the board held a public hearing to consider a land use plan amendment from residence single family to industry light. At that hearing, it was explained by the applicant and his representative in their application that the subject property was originally owned by Rumpke, and then in the 1970s, the property was purchased and used as the site for a trucking and container business. As the board recalls, the application to amend the land use plan from residence single family to industry light was approved at that hearing. So as the board may recall, the site is currently bordered to the north by a residential home and a light industrial use, the Carthage Auto Parts location, to the east by Caldwell Nature Preserve in Cincinnati, to the west by a single-family residence and Stoynoff Valley Auto Repair, and to the south is vacant property in Cincinnati, which is still owned by Rumpke. This property has been considered legally non-conforming for many years, as the current property owner was operating a light industrial use on the site before the township adopted its own zoning resolution in the early 2000s. So the proposed preliminary development plan, the proposed preliminary development site plan shows construction of a shop that is approximately 12,000 square feet with an attached office that is 4,000 square feet. The proposed site plan shows 7 parking spaces, including 2 handicap accessible parking spaces, which would meet the minimum number of parking spaces that would be required outlined in Article 23 for wholesale and warehousing uses. So if this property were to be zoned like a straight industrial district, it would meet the minimum number of required spaces in that article. The proposed shop and office structure is shown to be approximately 85 feet from the southern property line, where the majority of the residential uses are located. Along the northern property line, the site plan illustrates a 7,200 square foot warehouse. The site plan shows the existing 5,334 square foot commercial building on the western portion of the property to remain. The site plan shows the existing driveway access off of West Seymour Avenue on the furthermost northwest corner to remain. So that is over on the farthest portion northwest here. You can see my cursor. And then finally, the site plan illustrates an additional access point to the site off of West Seymour along the southern property line, which is actually in the city of Cincinnati. So the city corporation line is this dark line here. And there'd be an additional drive here with parking. Let's see, the additional access off of West Seymour Avenue also includes parking area for an additional 40 vehicles. And as shown on the submitted site plan, there are a total of 53 parking spaces being proposed, more than Article 23 would require, which is 45 spaces. Section 26.06 of the zoning resolution states that new industrial plan unit developments should reserve at least 15% of land area for common open space. While this space has not been specifically identified on the site plan, the existing lot is mostly undeveloped and the proposed improvements would leave much of the site undeveloped. Finally, the site plan notes that the project would be developed as a single phase or stage and the construction duration would not extend past 2 years. The Springfield Township Zoning Commission considered this application on June 21st, 2021, and voted unanimously to recommend approval of the zoning map amendment and preliminary development plans to the board with staff conditions. At the Zoning Commission's hearing on June 21st, there was no one in attendance who spoke in opposition to the application. In reviewing this application, the board should give due consideration to any concerns raised by neighbors. And to date, staff has not received any correspondence either in favor or opposed to the development. So the following are the staff conditions that were also recommended for approval by the Zoning Commission. First, that the applicant shall comply with and be subject to the requirements of the Hamilton County Engineer's Office, including the county thoroughfare plan. Second, the applicant shall be required to present final parcel plat maps when applying for a zoning certificate to ensure that all lot consolidation and subdividing is finalized before a zoning certificate is issued. Third, the applicant shall be required to submit a final development plan subject to the approval of the Township Zoning Commission and subject to the approval of the Township Zoning Commission prior to the issuance of a zoning certificate and any development occurring on the property in question. Fourth, final grading, drainage plans, and compliance with any floodplain management areas shall be subject to the approval of the Hamilton County Public Works Department. 5, that a photometric lighting plan with all exterior lighting be submitted as part of the final development plan. And finally, 6, all zoning requirements, unless otherwise noted on the final development plan, shall be in accordance with the approved development plan / zoning compliance plan and the applicable provisions of the Springfield Township zoning resolution. So Mr. Burning, that concludes my staff report.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. Would the applicant like to make a presentation?
Good evening. Yes, just some brief comments. My name is Scott Huber. I'm a site civil engineer with Abercrombie & Associates. As Ms. Kennedy stated, this is the same property that this board heard for a land use change back in June. And this is the same piece of property. It's kind of the same plan that we've presented all along, and there really haven't been any major revisions or any changes to it, just to let you know. And we do have a copy of the conditions here, all 6 conditions. We're in agreement with all of them. We don't have any issues with any of them. And the applicant and property owner are here if any of you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions of the applicant?
I do not.
I do not, I don't either.
And there, I don't see any opponents or proponents here. So I guess we'll close the public portion of the meeting.
Yeah, unless the applicant or the property owner has any comments they want to make.
They do not.
Okay.
I just remember, I'm sorry, at our zoning meeting, there was a resident here concerned about where the exits and the entrances were going to be for this facility. We haven't heard anything from that resident at all about I guess they're happy with how it's planned. No one has heard anything from her. Okay, all right. I just remember her specifically inquiring about where they were going to situate those exits. Okay, all right, very good. Okay, very good, thank you.
So we can close the public portion for board deliberation.
Need a motion?
Do we have a
I
motion?
think this,
Motion?
yeah, go ahead.
So moved.
Okay, so,
All those in favor?
Don't forget a second.
wait a minute.
Oh, I thought we had a
Let me
motion.
second it. So we're making a motion to approve,
Or to close the
or close public portion. Okay, I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public portion is closed.
So now, from a board deliberation standpoint, I guess, does the board have any comments in regards to the case and sort of your propensity to explain?
Well, I think what we heard here this afternoon is consistent with the prior meeting we had in this case, and actually, we did have, other people interested parties who were here, and I really didn't hear any opposition at that, particular meeting either. And I know we had some discussion. This isn't, it's zoned R3 right now, which probably is not, a real compatible use of this property where it's located. It's adjacent to a auto parts, a junkyard, basically.
I was going to say, not the nicest auto parts.
That's a nice way to, adjacent to a junkyard and in a rather, kind of an industrial setting there. There are some residences in the vicinity, but it seems like it would be a more productive and compatible use given the surrounding uses that we have going there. Do we have Christie, do you have any?
No, I would be in agreement with everything you stated, Mr. Hunter-Law. My only concern was the resident who appeared at the zoning hearing and just had questions about the positioning of the entrances and exits of the facility, and that person hasn't contacted us. So I'm in agreement with everything you stated, Mr. Hunter-Law.
Is it my understanding you can access this property from either entrance, and you'll use them both?
Well, the entrance that's to the west, that is a driveway that goes back to an existing residence. That has to remain. But our initial plan here is to pursue the new access off of Seymour Avenue, which is in the city property, and use that as our, for the business, use that as the primary entrance and exit. Yeah, but the driveway to the west is for residential use. It is right now, and it's going to remain.
And I think everybody I know somebody else that looked at this property was also going to put the driveway in in the exact same spot. Where you're put, in the city of Cincinnati, that entrance there.
There's an existing driveway there now.
Yes, and there is a driveway there now.
They're going to leave it there.
Yep.
And then just to remind the board, so this is what you're considering right now is the application for preliminary development plans. So the applicant will have to come back to the zoning commission with final development plans in the future before a zoning certificate can be issued. So that will show much more detail, including one of the staff recommended conditions is a photometric lighting plan. So you would see any light that may bother adjacent residential property owners. So they still have one more step of the township at least to complete.
Any other questions?
I don't have any.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the application with the conditions that were stipulated?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Meeting adjourned, and a motion to adjourn?
There-
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Closed.
Then there's going to be a resolution later.
Yes.
So we'll have a resolution at our public meeting